Iran. Okay, I'm not really sure where to begin on this, but okay, let's talk about an illegal war. On February 28th, 2026, the U.S. conducted multiple airstrikes in what was called a joint military effort with Israel against Iran under the guise of national security, and they totally have nukes. In this case, it's plain to see that Trump was doing this to try and take attention away from the Epstein files. And anything to the contrary, I mean, the Washington Post is outwardly stating, like, no, it wasn't, to which, okay, so yeah, it really was. And this also makes very little sense. So to get us to stop talking about Trump assaulting little kids, he bombed a school of little kids. You know that's worse, right? Also, the U.S. was going off intelligence that they were striking a military base. That data was vastly outdated. Instead, they used a U.S. Tomahawk missile with an unconfirmed kill count of about 180 kids gone. And just like that, an entire generation of Iran hate the U.S. again, and I don't blame them right now. During the airstrike on the Ayatollah, or the supreme leader of Iran, was killed. And while, look, two things can be true at the same time. The Ayatollah being gone is a good thing for the most part. He was a ruthless leader. I don't know if dictator would be the right word to describe him, but he was ruthless. He was not a good person. But the manner in which the U.S. conducted these airstrikes with no regard to civilians is alarming to the international community. It's also been confirmed because they found parts in the rubble that say Ohio, United States. The bombs were made here. It's been reported that the U.S. is using double tap strikes to maximize casualties, with the current death toll as of right now standing at 1,600 Iranians killed, along with 3,000 plus Iranian military personnel killed. Juxtaposed to the, as of the time of this recording, 6 confirmed servicemen and women of the United States who needlessly died, while supposedly thousands of U.S. civilians are still trapped in Iran, which is like Benghazi times 100, but Republicans aren't bringing that part up, right? Trump was asked if America needs to worry about the possibility of terrorist reprisal by Iran, while inside on U.S. soil. And his response was not quite reassuring. He said, and I quote, "I guess." His follow-up response was even colder, confirming some people will die. His remarks did not go unnoticed inside the Justice Department and the FBI, especially among agents and prosecutors who handle national security and terrorism cases. Let me also remind you that the guy in charge of Homeland Security, the guy in charge of Homeland Domestic Terror Threats is a guy by the name of Thomas Fugate, 23 years old, with no experience in Homeland Security. God damn it. Now, let's talk about the economic impact of all this, because it is a lot. To start, oil prices per barrel are spiking right now, as the time of this recording, $113 a barrel, which is screwing over most American families. When oil gets high, that actually triggers a wave of layoffs in the oil fields as demand falls, as the cost of barrel goes up. And with the cost of oil jumping, the overall dollar, it buys you less per week. Everything gets more expensive, including groceries. Anything that's touched by oil, you gotta deliver groceries, that gets more expensive. Oh yeah, and the moron forgot to refill the national reserves of oil that could have helped to ease the gas issue. But what about all that sweet oil from Venezuela? Well, it's crude and difficult to refine, so there's that. There's also a stronger threat of various Middle Eastern countries pulling trillions of dollars of investment in the U.S., potentially causing, and say it with me kids, a recession. Also, in an unprecedented move, BlackRock is limiting how much stock you can take out of their investment firm, which might be illegal, but I'm not holding my breath for the billionaire class. All this, along with the U.S. losing buying power at such a high rate, all signal towards the U.S. going towards an economic meltdown in the very, very near future. But don't worry, it's not like your kids will be around to see it. As Lindsey Graham famously said, we need to send our sons and daughters to go fight in Iran. I guarantee you his grandkids aren't going. But that said, don't worry. Again, also, your kids may not be around for this, as the U.S. has updated for the first time in decades draft requirements in case the war rages out of control. But don't worry, Trump already said that this war will be done in about 4 weeks. Don't worry about the devastation of this conflict without any repercussions from the other side whatsoever.